The firepower over Iran's intensifying as Operation Epic Fury punishes what's left of the regime. B-2 bombers are in the air, striking Iranian ballistic missiles, mobile launchers, and command and control. U.S. Central Command releasing video showing Iranian planes being smoked right off the tarmac. The U.S. Air Force also focusing on Iran's underground missile cities, where it's believed that thousands of medium and short-range missiles are being stored. U.S. bombers, drones, and fighter jets are circling these mountains, and the minute mobile missile launchers roll out of the tunnel to fire, we take them out. Then drop heavy ordnance to collapse the cave and bury everyone alive. The goal? Complete disarmament. Here's CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper.
In just the last 72 hours, America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran, including around Tehran. And in just the last hour, U.S. B-2 bombers dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs targeting deeply buried ballistic missile launchers. Notably, we've also struck Iran's equivalent of Space Command, which degrades their ability to threaten Americans.
On top of that, Israel says it's knocked out the enemy's cyber warfare headquarters and one of their intel hubs. Plus, 30 of their warships have been turned into seafood. And we just got another big one.
In just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. And as we speak, it's on fire.
The commander-in-chief's monitoring the situation and is quite pleased.
As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launcher gets hit. They don't know what's happening. Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. Their communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says Iran's strategy is simple. Take a beating and wait us out.
Iran is hoping that we cannot sustain this, which is a really bad miscalculation. There's no shortage of American will here. We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. If you think you've seen something, just wait.
The Pentagon's testing its doomsday ballistic missile now in the Pacific, the Minuteman III. It's a big one, capable of carrying nuclear warheads 20 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It can travel 6,000 miles at speeds of 15,000 miles an hour. It's hypersonic and can strike anywhere in the world in less than 30 minutes. Air Force Global Strike Command says the missile was tested to verify its effectiveness, readiness, and accuracy, just in case we have to use it. And the test was successful. The Iranians noticed and picked up the phone.
They're tough, and they want to fight. And they're calling, they're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late. And we want to fight now more than they do.
If you're a mullah, you're panicking. But in front of the camera, they're Rambo, trying to bait America into a ground war.
Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
Boots on the ground, not part of this operation, says the Pentagon. Right now, it's an air campaign, and it's been devastating and running ahead of schedule. Although Trump is saying he's all for a Kurdish ground offensive. More on that later. But Iran has an even bigger problem. Reports say Iranian soldiers, police officers, and Revolutionary Guards aren't showing up to work. Maybe they're dead. Maybe they're in hiding. Or maybe they're waiting for immunity.
I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military, and the police to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death.
The mullahs are getting sloppy. Today, an Iranian drone hit Azerbaijan, the 12th country to be attacked by Tehran. And now they're vowing to retaliate.
what Iran is doing by targeting allied countries that would otherwise want to stay out of this, they've actually pulled them into the American orbit. So now you've got UAE and Qatar and Bahrain and Saudi and Kuwait and others saying, hey, we're with you. We'll shoot with you. We'll fly with you. We'll defend with you.
The Europeans finally got off the sidelines. Spain, after closing its bases, is now joining a fleet of Dutch, Greek, and Italian warships sailing to Cyprus off the coast of Israel. Iran's bruised, battered, and isolated. Their ballistic missile attacks have dropped by 90%. And good news, Israelis are coming out of their bunkers. The country lowered its public threat level to allow citizens to gather in public places again. And flights are now being allowed to take off from Tel Aviv. And we're learning more about how the Israelis duped the Ayatollah into thinking he was safe. Reports say Jewish generals all made sure to be publicly seen leaving their headquarters Friday night. Iranian intelligence expected the coast was clear for the weekend. But the generals snuck back into the building wearing disguises. The Ayatollah and his top officials took a breakfast meeting on Saturday above ground. Boom. Every single Iranian leader is either dead, missing, or sweating bullets in a bunker. The president says he has to be personally involved in picking who gets to run the country. Inside Iran, the runner-up is Khamenei's son. But Trump says this: they're wasting their time. Khamenei's son is a lightweight. He's unacceptable to me. We want someone that will bring harmony and peace to Iran. And according to WikiLeaks, Khamenei's son doesn't have what it takes to lead the nation. Intelligence cables reveal Khamenei Jr. visited British hospitals to treat severe erectile dysfunction. Mossad already has him targeted for assassination. Shouldn't be that hard. The U.S. administration, while pushing for regime collapse, is also defending attacks against oil tankers and oil infrastructure. Oil isn't moving out of the strait. A refinery was hit. A tanker flagged to the Bahamas, also on fire. Gas prices have gone up about 25 cents a gallon since Saturday. There's going to be some short-term pain for American consumers until the Iranians are defanged, which we hope is within just a few weeks, and oil drops back down to the 60s.
We had it very low, but I had to take this little detour if it's okay with everybody.
But no one's more spooked than the Chinese. They just ordered their refineries to suspend exports. If Operation Epic Fury succeeds and Beijing ever gets frisky, Trump can make one phone call and slap Xi with an oil embargo. The Trump administration is securing American interest in the Middle East and in Latin America. Venezuela is sending oil to Texas refineries to take the bite out of this price spike. And instead of sending gold to China, those shipments stopped. Doug Burgum's down in Caracas cutting a mining deal to send gold bars north to Fort Knox. As we cement American power in the Persian Gulf, we're consolidating power here in the Western Hemisphere. This weekend at Doral, Trump's hosting a Latin American summit where all the leaders will talk shop and play golf. Maybe Cuba can come next year.
What's happening with Cuba is amazing, and we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay. We want you back, and we don't want to lose you. We don't want to make it so nice that they stay.
Remember the domino theory during the Cold War? Trump's flipping dominoes the other way. The world's changing fast because the United States is imposing our will. We have the power to shape our own destiny like no other country in the history of civilization. It's just a matter of, do we have the will? And we pray that Operation Epic Fury is a success, and for the safety of our troops, and for the quick return of the free flow of oil.
And welcome to Hannity. We begin tonight with this Fox News alert. Tonight, Iran's Islamist regime is now cornered. They are desperate. They are running out of options and ammo. At this hour, they have a decision to make: a free Iran or certain death. Take a look.
I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military, and the police to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. and we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death, and I don't want to see that.
Now, the fractured armed forces of Iran should heed this warning before it's too late. Now, the desperation from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, it is obvious. Earlier today, despite dwindling firepower, they somehow managed to hit yet another once neutral neighbor. 4 were injured during a drone attack on Azerbaijan, which is now vowing to retaliate. Meanwhile, one day after the IRGC threatened to cut off the Straits of Hormuz, that's most of Iran's once proud navy is now at the bottom of the ocean. In fact, in just the last few hours, even more ships were added to the kill list. Take a look.
Our strikes against the Iranian Navy have intensified. You may have heard the president say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships. And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. And as we speak, it's on fire.
And tonight, around the world, the most dangerous place on Earth is likely aboard one of Iran's few remaining vessels still floating. In fact, the crew of one of these surviving ships begged Sri Lanka to dock at one of its ports, where the Iranian sailors on board ultimately fled onto dry land, surrendering their ship to the Sri Lankan government. But now, with almost all of Iran's Navy and Air Force completely and utterly destroyed, and almost all of Iran's key leaders dead, a foreign minister that you never heard of is now threatening the USA and openly fantasizing about a U.S. ground invasion. That's not going to happen. Take a look.
President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
So you're saying that Iran is ready and willing to take on the U.S. military if there were to be ground troops?
Well, we were ready for this war even more than the previous war.
It was like just before this all began, the Supreme Leader was sending out videos that they made of Iranians, sinking American ships and defeating the USA and making declarations that Donald Trump will be in a coffin in 3 months. It's not clear if this is delusion or an act, but the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps should be praying to Allah that they never have to come face to face with the United States Marines. In reality, the future of Iran will be decided on the ground by its own people. But first, the intense bombing campaign against Iran's radical police state.
I didn't see you guys come in. Good evening, everyone. Support for the war in Iran is expanding, with France sending naval forces, Spain offering bases, and Ireland sending a bomb filled with deadly gases. The fighting in Iran has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, causing one man to ask, but where can I meet the gay of Hormuz? 20% of the world's natural gas passes through the Strait of Hormuz. The remaining 80% passes through this. Meanwhile, President Trump fired DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, and no one's more disappointed than her dogs. According to a new poll, 57% of Americans want all illegal migrants sent home. And experts note that this would take at least 4 used El Caminos.
It's a great car.
They are. Bring them back, I say. Britney Spears was arrested for a DUI. The cop who pulled her over says he didn't recognize her with her clothes on. Poor lady, poor lady. Let's unfree Britney. A new report shows that self-driven cars keep crashing in bad weather. Even worse, Asian-driven cars crash in good weather. How would you clap at that? Racist. Racist. NBA player Luke Cornett is asking the Atlanta Hawks to cancel a night honoring a local strip club in order to respect women. Other NBA players disagreed, saying it's the only time they get to see the mothers of their children.
That's up, Greg.
I didn't write it. In order to avoid violating FCC requirements, The View is now claiming they are a news program. I know. And in order to avoid violating FDA requirements, they now have to kill the hogs before they eat them. Yeah, they ate raw pigs. Finally, in Fresno, a child sex offender running for city council held a press conference outside a school. But he said there's nothing to worry about because the kids are really ugly. It's okay to laugh. You ever notice this pattern, how traditional media and Dems support lofty goals but never a plan to achieve them? We saw it with Doge. They said for years the deficit will destroy us, but when someone actually picks up the knife, they key cars. They said they wanted a secure border, then enforcement ramps up, they call you racist, and they spit on cops. And now with Iran, it's the same thing. I mean, it took forever to get the left to even admit the Iranian regime isn't a knitting circle. After all, this is a government that funds proxies, destabilizes neighbors, treats death to America like a morning greeting, and they have women wear headscarves, even the hot ones.
Ooh.
But when Trump hears there's a problem, he can't help but want to solve it in the only way he knows how. It's kind of why he won. And what happens with his detractors? Well, they retreat to the same prison of two ideas. Sure, Iran is a terrible regime, but we can't have forever wars. Well, we agree on that. But it's like saying, I have split ends, but I really don't want to have to shave my head. The real world has endless options, and many of them are adjustable. Trump knows this. He dials things up, he dials things down, because he operates in a reality filled with some very bad people. Now, it would be different if Iran wanted to be left alone and left us alone. But they spent decades calling for our death, dragging us into scraps we want no part in. Yet our own regime kept kicking the can down the road, making it the next guy's problem. The problem? That next guy was Trump. You make it his problem, he's going to solve it, along with other long-standing issues. Remember the last warning Obama gave to Trump? Hey, buddy, watch out for North Korea. And what's the first thing Trump did? Deal with North Korea. So at him, Iran is like a Rubik's Cube. It's not if he can solve it, but how fast and with the fewest moves. And he has no problem showing you where he's at, like in this perfect moment.
You want to say something really fast, Bernie?
Thank you.
I have to go back and look at the war. You know, I have a lot of things happening.
You notice how that, it's just a small thing, but how different that is than past leaders. Absolutely no leader would say, hey, I got to run, got a war to wage. But to Trump, he treats it like a problem that needs fixing. And he sounds no different than Don Lemon saying, I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got dozens of homeless to bang. Meanwhile, even the region itself has moved on. Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Israel, they're building tech hubs, wealth funds, AI, tourism, data centers. The Saudis even let women drive, regardless of what it does to car insurance rates. And women don't have to be fully covered anymore, with the exception, of course, of one. Many Muslim nations signed on to the Abraham Accords with Israel, which is like the Crips and the Bloods starting a softball team together. But Iran is the last guy clinging to old ways. The Ayatollah was probably still using silly putty to copy newspaper articles. But Trump doesn't see this as an ideological debate. He sees it transactionally. Apply pressure. What's the return? Stability, trade, energy security. It's a negotiation, not group therapy. He's not worried about Spain's feelings. We've heard enough Spanish anyway during the halftime show. Call back. So we finally have a president that doesn't just understand the goal, but willing to provide a path to it. In the real world, a messy place where things aren't perfect, but where life happens. The Iran combat will end at some point. There will be a deal. It won't be poetry. It'll be paperwork, commerce instead of chaos. And the left will hate it, no matter how it looks. Because it's not that they just hate watching the sausage get made. They hate that it gets made at all. And boy, do they despise the guy who's making it. Let's welcome tonight's guest. After the show, he returns his wardrobe to Salvation Army. Host of the Loftus Party podcast, Michael Loftus. He looks like the kind of guy who hands out business cards at a boat show. Former Trump advisor Steve Cortez. She was on the equestrian team, so she's an expert on manure. Republican strategist Aaron McGuire. And he's made more old ladies weak in the knees than osteoarthritis. Former NWA World Champion, host of Planet Michael Loftus, you were in the homeless shelter when the strikes began. How did everybody feel when it happened? Were they very patriotic?
Well, we all panicked.
Yes.
And then when they said, you'll still get rice and beans, we're like, whew, that was close.
That's great. Thank God for that.
But we're very patriotic. Everybody at the shelter.
Yeah.
We were lighting things up, red, white, and blue.
We just
singing
can't-
in our little cardboard boxes.
We just can't wait. Our show can't wait for you to get back up on your feet.
It's going to be a while.
Yes.
There's a lot of rails to ride.
Yes. So what do you make of this? What's your take? I haven't heard from you at all about it.
The war, no one's for war.
Yeah.
But it's like we all saw this coming for decades. Like every single president was like, Bill Clinton's like, oh boy, we don't want Iran to get a nuke.
Yeah.
We're going to give them some uranium, see how that works out. What are you doing? Obama's giving him a bunch of cash. Biden gave him cash. And then finally, we got Donald Trump, who's like, I'm going to change it up. I'm not going to send cash. I'm going to send bombs. Bam, bam. Yeah. We got a secret weapon in America, Batman planes and Pete Hegseth.
Yes.
It's wonderful. I like it, and I'm happy for the people of Iran. I want to start calling it Persia again.
Yes.
And I tell you what, there's some hotties under there.
Yes.
You start, it's like a candy. You get the wrapper off, and you're like, wowza, woo-woo.
Yeah, Iran, they're like the Kardashians of the Middle East.
But trustworthy.
Yes. Steve, you've always been pretty good at getting the angle on Trump before a lot of people did, including myself. So how would you put your friends at ease about concerns of a long and ugly war?
No, it's a great question, and I will say this, too. I also think that some of my friends on the right should realize that as patriots, I believe, whatever your feelings were about getting into this war, once our people in uniform are risking their lives in the field, it's no longer time to debate that, I don't think. I think it's time to cheer on their wins and to pray for their safety, right, every day and cheer on their wins.
I think you could do both, though. I think that it is kind of, it's going to sound liberal on my behalf, but it is kind of patriotic to also be critical on how things are done because you want it to be done better.
Sure. And to that point, and I think this is also important, I will also say this. I do believe, and I'm somebody who is deeply connected to, what we would call the America First right or the MAGA right and influencers all over the country. And there is a lot of suspicion about this right now, okay? There is. And I don't mean just a few people who are influential on social media. I mean just regular folks, and I also see it in my polling. This is so far not popular.
Yeah.
So given that reality, I think it's incumbent upon the president to wrap this up as quickly as is possible, right? I think he'll do that. I think he realizes that, and I believe that will happen, but it has to.
Yeah, it does make me, it makes me wonder in the old days, Aaron, back when you were just, in your early 30s, I'm kidding.
So you mean just a few years ago?
Yes. If you heard about a country that got its entire leadership lopped off, it would just surrender. Wasn't that how it used to be? So what is taking so long? Am I that naive and stupid? Don't answer that, audience. I could be both.
I think there are a number of considerations that go into why there hasn't been a full toppling of the Iranian regime, and it's because of their proxy network. They have built a network of terrorists and influence across the Middle East that has led to the death of thousands of Americans over the years. So our ability to completely upend the regime, one, was not the full goal. But also, the Iranian people, if they want to topple their regime, this is the time to do it. This is their opportunity to stand up and say, we are done with the oppression, we are done with the murder, we are done with the terrorism, and we want to live free.
Well, can I ask to that point? I hate saying to that point, but I did it again. What if we overestimated the will of the Iranian people? What if we're looking at social media and we're just seeing, like, maybe it's 100,000 people and not 90 million people. That I now am so skeptical of the things that I get. How do we know? Because there was a lot of chatter when people were getting killed, and then it's like, where is it now? Where are the people?
Well, they were on the streets prior to the United States being attacked, and then tens of thousands of them were murdered by the regime. So I can understand why they might not be gathering in the streets again to get their heads lobbed off while the regime is still in power. But I do think that there is a large majority of the Iranian people who would rather have the opportunity to have women crash cars all over the country than not,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you have to accept some of the flaws with freedom, and that is women driving.
Terrible driver. I'm a terrible driver.
I think we've said it a few times. It's the one thing they got right.
Yeah, that's true. Tyrus, so Steve says in order to keep this, it's got to be over soon. I believe that Trump, it doesn't go with his character that he would do anything for the long term. If he thought this was going to be long, he wouldn't do it.
Again, I think with President Trump and everything that he's done, he's been so transparent that when they try to put spins on it, it's laughable. I mean, he literally tells you the exception of, come watch the room where I pick up the phone and say, bomb away. I mean, that's the only thing we don't see is, and I'm sure that's going to be a pay-per-view at some point. But what I picked up on what he's been doing, it looks like he's the one president who's trying to leave it better than when he got it. And we haven't had that in a long time. So I don't think he's going to walk into anything, and I think you made this point on the 5. He doesn't walk into anything he doesn't know how to get out of.
Right.
And he basically is playing Godfather with Iran. He made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and they blinked. And when they woke up, it wasn't a horse's head in their bed. It was all of them.
Yeah.
So again, when it comes to polling with President Trump, I don't think it matters. When it comes to you just throwing shots at it. I know you're sick, but you're still fighting. Yeah, it's hard to believe anything you see on TV because look at the we see on our TV.
Yeah.
Like the arguments are, and this is how you know what he's doing is right, is because the arguments are, I don't know if he has enough ammunition.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yes.
One guy on MSNBC said it was like 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, like they're trying to find anything except the fact that he did something that no country, nation has ever been able to do anything more than to slap Iran on the wrist because they were too afraid. And what he did is he walked away. Everyone was like, I don't know about it. He's like, excuse me, pardon me, Iran, hi, boom. And then like, see, told you, easy. And then he cut the head off, and he's going to keep cutting the head off because even if that doesn't mean he's going to change regime, the new regime is going to be very polite because he can get you. He can get all of you.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And I think that's the thing that I think that's the precedent he's setting, and he's going to let the Middle East figure it out.
Yeah. Let's not forget he changed another regime, the one in the United States.
Whoop.
Boom, your head should explode right now.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.